I'm going to show you how to transfer your pet's image to your canvas in a very simple way. And to do this, I'm going to use carbon paper. I purchased this at my local craft store. There's 2 sheets in this package that are 18 by 24, and you can reuse them. So this will actually last me quite a while. Some other options you have is you can buy a pad of carbon paper, which will last you a very long time. So that's completely up to you. The other materials I'll need is a ballpoint pen. I'll need some scissors, and I'll need my pet's image printed out on just some regular paper. And this can even be in black and white. It does not have to be fancy. As you can see, mine's kind of hodgepodge together because I'm not going to use it after this, so it doesn't need to be nice. And then I'll also need a canvas or whatever the surface is that I'm painting on. Notice that I've tinted my canvas first, and this is important because if you're going to tint your canvas, you want to make sure that it's dry and tinted before you put your lines on, because you don't want to paint right over your lines after you draw them. So those are the materials that we need. Oh, and you will also need a little bit of tape. In this instance, I'm taping everything up so you can see it. But if you're doing this at home, you may want to try doing it on a table where you're looking down at the surface, just so things kind of stay in place a little bit easier. And you can also tape it in place then too. But for this tutorial, I have it up so you can see a little bit better. Okay, so I've cut a piece of carbon paper the size that I need, and I've taped it to the top of my canvas. And I use the masking tape because the canvas is a little bit hard to stick to with just any tape, so masking tape might be your friend in this situation. And then I've also taken my image and I've just taped it to the top of that. So you want the side with all of the carbon on it to be touching your canvas. So as you can see, it's a little bit more gray on the top, and my carbon paper is very black on the bottom. The very black side is the part that you want touching your canvas. Now I have my dog's image exactly where I want it to be on my canvas, and I've taped it down so it's not going to move. And I'm going to take my ballpoint pen and I'm going to carefully outline just the shapes that are really going to help me when I paint this dog's portrait. As you're tracing your pet's image, ensure that you are not pushing too hard with your pen. Canvas is stretchable and you can poke through it, so find an easy medium and push just hard enough to get the graphite on your canvas. So I've finished outlining all of the basic shapes and the things that I need for my painting, and I just outlined it with a ballpoint pen. And now I'm going to take off my image and I will have my drawing from the carbon paper. Let's see what it looks like. You can lift slowly, and if you lift from the top, here's a trick. If you lift from the top, where I have it taped right here, then you can tell if you need to go over any area again. As you can see, carbon paper is great to get down the general basic shape, and you can get into a lot of detail as much as you want or need to. Okay, so after I've gotten the lines down on my canvas from my carbon paper, I need to fix it to the canvas. And if I painted directly over these lines right now with my oil paint, what would happen is the oil paint would pick it up, it would smudge it, you wouldn't be able to follow your lines very well, and if you're using a really light color, it'll just muddy it up. So to save you some trouble, you need to fix it to the canvas. And what I'm going to do to do that is I'm going to use this workable fixative. You can get this at just any craft store, and one can will last you forever. A little goes a long way because you never really use very much at a time. It doesn't really go bad. However, this stuff is super stinky and it's a little toxic, so I'm not gonna spray this in my house. I'm gonna take it outside, I'm gonna lightly dust it, and it's really just a dusting, and then I'll let it dry for a minute and then it'll be ready to paint. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial about how to transfer your image to a canvas using transfer paper. If you are interested in learning more about how to paint animals in acrylic or oil, please check out my workshops at zenzocreative.com.